Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production. Take 2.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? Now, we're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Or, your father was right. You were an idiot, and everything you watched was stupid. So buckle up, movie aficionados. Over-the-top gore? Check. Over-embellished action? Check. Gratuitous nudity? Double check. Storylines so absurd you could drive a semi-truck through those plot holes. Oh yeah, some of those movies didn't even know what a movie plot was. And that's the way we liked it. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
Oh, that's really...
That's very
There
big.
we go.
There we go. Much better. Much better.
And I got my mic properly. Do I?
Yeah, you do. You do. It's facing the right way. Yay, Jimmy.
Yay, I worked it all on my own. All right. So today, Lake Placid.
Yar.
Yeah. All right. Let's... when did you watch it?
I watched it this afternoon.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I was saving it all week long. Like I was like, no, Anna, don't watch it too early in the week. Like wait until the day of. So I watched it this afternoon. And it's way shorter than I remember it being.
Yeah, way shorter. Not as much. I thought there was more of a body count.
Me too.
Yeah.
Although the bodies that showed up really appreciate them.
My 7-year-old loved it.
Did she?
Yeah, their mother was away.
Which explains why she was watching it.
Yeah, she wanted to watch it immediately again.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a look at Lake Placid's budget for 1999. $27 million.
That's a pretty substantial budget.
That's a pretty, but for, B horror movie. But with an A cast.
A cast.
Yeah.
There was some CGI, there were some practical effects.
Yeah, and I'll give it to Steve Miner. Is not the greatest director. He's not a bad director, but he's not the best director. But he's a fun director.
He is a very fun director.
Like what did he do? He did the remake of Day of the Dead, which is horrible, but so much fun to watch. But he did Friday 13th Part 2, Part 3, Texas Rangers with Dawson's Creek, where they were the Texas Rangers.
James Vanderbeek?
Yeah.
I've never seen that movie.
Really?
Really?
Again, not a great movie, but a fun movie.
It could be because James Vanderbeek, like Dawson's Creek ruined him for me.
It was really hard kind of like seeing him other than Dawson.
Well, it was so like there is a James Vanderbeek movie that I am willing to watch, and it's Varsity Blues.
Oh, that's a great movie.
That's the only one where I'm like, yeah, James Vanderbeek, I'll totally watch that. Although he did do the show,
The Bitch in 29. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good show. I was disappointed that got canceled.
And I was like, God, I love you in this.
Yeah.
So
and he had that short stint on CSI Cyber.
Oh, I never watched CSI Cyber.
No one did.
I watched CSI. Then I went to New York. I also did Miami, but Caruso got on my nerves.
What's his name? David Caruso.
Yeah,
one-liner like every 2 minutes was awesome.
And it's the squinty eyes and then the sunglasses. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, he just leaned into it
once
hard.
He left the show, I was like, oh, I enjoy you, CSI Miami.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Cyber. CSI New York is my favorite of the CSIs, though, except for original CSI when Grissom was still on it.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's kind of.
Although the Ted Danson years, pretty good.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne.
Yes, I loved him on CSI. He was so good.
But Steve Miner also did House, which I loved, where the writer gets this house to go write a novel in, and then it's haunted, and every room is a different dimension. Soul Man. We should probably do that one.
Honestly, I think I watched that once, and I promised myself never again.
Warlock, which is another great B movie.
I think I
Yeah,
watched that one. I can't really remember it though.
and like Forever Young, and yeah, so he's done Halloween H2O.
Love
Um,
that movie.
so yeah, he's a fun director, very fun
Yeah.
director. For 27 million for a B movie, it's a little high.
It's a little high, but also this was 1999 and
Yeah,
there was
and
obvious
CGI.
CGI
Yeah,
and very big practical effects.
yes,
So that would have cost a pretty penny. Like, I'm pretty sure there were animatronics, like, there was a thing. So I was like, that would have taken up quite a bit of budget in 1999.
yeah. All right, so let's share this. Do. Then we'll take a look at how much it made. I know it didn't do
Yeah, I know.
that great.
I didn't hear about it until it aired on TV. Like, I have no recollection of it even being an option to watch in theaters.
Oh, it's not too bad.
That's actually pretty good.
Like 56.8 million. And this is back in the day where you didn't have to make 300 million to break even.
True. True.
This is like a 27 million. It probably had a few $1,000,000 for marketing, and
Mhm.
so it probably broke even or made a little bit of money. It explains why there were some sequels afterwards.
There were quite a few sequels. I'm like,
Yeah.
now I wanna watch these sequels. They look ridiculous, but I'm down.
Had an opening of $10 million. It opened up on a Friday, on the weekend, on July 16th.
Mhm.
Came in at number 3, behind American Pie and Eyes Wide Shut.
You know, I hated Eyes Wide Shut.
Never seen it. I don't know
Don't.
why. I really like Stanley Kubrick. I like Tom Cruise. I like Nicole Kidman. This just sounded weird. I don't want to watch it.
It was very, very weird, but also I don't like Nicole Kidman, I'm kinda mid on. Tom Cruise, I hate. I hate so much.
Oh, I love Tom Cruise.
And it felt like
Crazy
one of those
bastard.
he is so crazy, God bless. We're totally gonna get allegedly, he is so crazy. Um, I don't like watching him acting anymore. When he was younger, like his movies from the '80s,
Oh, his
maybe
movies from the
even
80s were
early '90s.
awesome.
'80s
90s.
was awesome. Early '90s were okay. And then there was this weird switch in the choices he made, and I was just like, "Ah." And
We
then
got one of his movies coming up
yeah.
a few weeks from now, but see, one of my favorite science fiction movies is one of his. Like, I liked his Oblivion and Minority Report, and
I can't
but
watch him.
I loved, what was it? Edge of Tomorrow?
Yeah,
Live,
I
Die,
can't watch him.
Repeat. Oh, so good.
It's honestly, I have some weird mental block with like, I can watch his older movies. I think up until Jerry Maguire, I'm like, "Yeah, Tom Cruise." After Jerry Maguire, I'm like, "Jesus Christ, Tom Cruise." So, I have a weird mental block when it comes to Tom Cruise. I don't maybe it's because I watched, like, Mission Impossible at a theater, and I have never rolled my eyes so hard in my life. I was like, "This was just a really long music video."
You didn't like Mission Impossible?
I didn't.
Oh,
I
which
really,
one?
really
The
didn't.
first one?
The first one.
I was mad when they killed Emilio Estevez.
We're always mad when they kill Emilio Estevez.
But Lake Placid, it
Mhm.
did beat out like Big Daddy. Well, it was in its 4th week
I
already.
was
It
gonna
was
say,
already at $134 million. Wild Wild West.
God
Oh
bless.
god, I've only seen that movie once. The
Same.
Wood.
Ooh, I like that movie.
Really?
Yeah. It only
Oh,
debuted at, like, number 6.
yeah.
Weird.
Tarzan. Is that the Disney one? Yes, Walt Disney one.
Wait,
And
but is it
the
the
cartoon.
animated?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a great one.
Okay.
Actually, I like the Tarzan movies. I like the one they did with Skarsgård.
Ooh. We
Um,
enjoy him just in general.
yeah, and he just loincloth and running around all ripped,
And there is
sweaty.
nothing wrong with that.
And the one with Highlander, Christopher Lambert, back from
Oh,
the 80s, Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan.
I've never watched that.
I haven't seen that movie for a long time. Something tells me I don't think they used real monkeys or
Mm.
gorillas and apes, and
Yeah,
there
I'm gonna
was
go
no CGI in 1984. So It might be a fun movie to watch.
I mean, I'm down. I will watch anything with Christopher Lambert just because that man said like I
I
love the
love
Highlander
Christopher.
movie.
Yeah, even
And
number
I was
2
like,
is so stupid, but I do
so
enjoy
incredibly
it.
stupid. Oh god, I love those. And then the TV series was really good. Christopher Lambert wasn't in that, and think until
No,
the finale. I think he showed up in the finale, but like for reals, like I love Highlander in
yeah,
general. So
they're remaking it, eh?
I heard that.
Superman.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm sure women would like seeing him in a kilt.
I mean, yeah, it's always nice.
All right, so let's get rid of this. And then we have we saw the poster. It's a cool
Mm,
poster. I
it's
don't
very
know
cool.
why I didn't want to go see this in the theater. I'm pretty sure I went and saw Deep Blue Sea in the theater.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
maybe it was like too much I love creature features. So I don't know why I didn't go and see this. I don't know.
I don't think it got that much like advertising.
No.
I don't remember it that being that like exposed. Like it didn't get that much exposure.
Yeah. And then for those listening, it's just Bill Pullman, Bridget Fonda, Olivia Platt over Lake Placid, and then the whole crocodile is underneath
Hmm.
Lake Placid. You'll never know what hit you, and it's just Bridget Fonda in the water looking around, bewildered,
Yeah.
not behind her. And this was actually the newest
Mm.
collector's edition released, where it's have a relaxing vacation at Lake Placid, and some guy in a boat and the crocodile about to eat it.
That's actually a good poster. I like that.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we think for Rotten Tomatoes?
I think it got great reviews.
I'm gonna say it's mid. I no, maybe it did get. I don't know.
See, after watching it, I'm kind of like, there was a lot of very like funny dialogue in it. So I
Yeah,
was like,
there.
I think they probably liked it a little bit more than they would most creature feature. Let's see. Let's find out.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think it was gonna be that bad.
Oh,
47% out of 96 reviews.
what? Oh, there weren't
Oh,
that many reviews.
100,000 audience members comes in at 37%.
That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit.
Maybe it was the body count. Wanted to see more death. Yeah, that's actually surprising.
Yeah, that's much lower than I thought it would be.
All right. This was an Anna pick, so you can pick a good one, and I'll look for the
Uh,
bad ones. Well, there's
thank
actually more
you.
bad ones.
So, this is from Total Film Staff. They say fantastic stuff, tense and silly and very, very funny. This is easily the best horror comedy for years.
This is CSM staff, Christian Science Monitor. Stay away unless you enjoy gross out violence, and stay even farther away if you're an animal lover, since some of the most grisly attacks are aimed at cows who just want to chew their cuds in peace. 1 out of 4.
In short, this is a great example of a late 90s foul mouth monster movie with all kinds of laughs, 1 or 2 scares, and a firm grasp on the kind of movie it is. Check it out for sure. That's from Kyle Anderson at Nerdist.
Kelly is an inspired choice for a screenwriter, but none of this is actually funny. Also, less than 4 minutes of screen time for the croc in a 78-minute movie. No, thank you. 2 out of 5. Trace Thurman, Horror Queers podcast. It was a little more than 4, Trace.
Yes.
And I think they followed the Jaws formula.
Yes.
We do not see the crocodile until halfway through the movie.
At approximately the 43-minute mark.
Yeah, because I paused it when I
definitely
finally saw it. I'm like, and just to see what it was, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, I made a note at the 40-minute mark. I was like, "We've made it 40 minutes in this, and we still haven't seen the full croc."
Yeah,
And I was
but
like, "That's
I believe
impressive."
that worked for it. Like Jaws,
100%.
you don't, and then when you finally do see it, you're like, that scene where you finally see the croc. It's like, whoa, it's big.
You're like, Jesus Christ, that's a big yeah. I feel like Trace was looking for a different movie in this movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Let me see. A lighthearted monster movie that offers up plenty of laughs. Lake Placid is still a really fun and well-made creature feature that doesn't ever treat its characters or the audience like morons. That's from Heather Wixon at Daily Dead. Original score 3.5 out of 5.
The whole movie's a giant crock. That's Joe Morgenstern, Wall Street Journal.
Oh, this one's nice. Surprised to say, the film is actually, by turns, both scary and funny, although seldom at the same time. That's from Steve Biodrowski from eSplatter.
Lake Placid isn't so bad that it's good. It's so bad that it's really bad. 1 out of 4. James Bertinelli, Real Views.
I kind of like this one. If you want some mindless entertainment, then go see this. If not, wait for the video. Kamal the Diva, Larswell, 3 Black Chicks review. The original score was 3 out of 5.
This is the kind of movie that actors discuss in long, sad talks with their agents. 1 out of 4. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times.
Oh God. Let me figure. Wait. Ooh. Briskly paced and snappily written, it's the only movie currently in theaters that is completely free of pretensions. Chuck Rudolph, Matinee Magazine, original score B-. Chuck understood the assignments.
Is Lake Placid too obvious of a pun? 5 out of 10. Scott Weinberg, Hollywood Bitch Slap.
Ooh. Sometimes quality isn't important. There can be something comforting in the predictably mediocre. Mike LaSalle, San Francisco Chronicle, original score 2 out of 4. That doesn't sound positive, but it is.
All right, let's check out IMDb. IMDb. I'm going to say it's at least a little higher than friggin'.
I think it's a little higher.
And it is. 68,000 reviews, comes in at 5.8.
Makes a lot of sense.
All right, let's go down to the reviews. I will start with the 10. I can pretty much, I'm looking for it, but I can pretty much make it. It is awesome. This is the best movie I've ever seen. That's all 10s are. All right. 20 years ago came Brilliance. 10 out of 10. Acid J.
All right. Finally, a horror movie that's not a horror movie, I guess. 9 out of 10 from Maine Lobster 714.
Crocodile version of Jaws. There you go. Slark Shark. Slark Shark. 8 out of 10.
Great for fans of gallows humor, quirky performances, and slow burns. Lemon Magic 7 out of 10.
Surprisingly entertaining. Paul 103. 6 out of 10.
Crikey, this movie bites. Lake Placid is full of crock. 5 out of 10 from Iron Horse 4.
I got a couple here, like a surprisingly watchable monster movie, and it's giving them a 4.
Interesting.
It's like, why?
I feel like they don't understand the scale.
Oh, here we go. No matter how low your expectations are, this film will disappoint you. Daft 4 out of 10.
Crap. Thy name is Lake Placid. Rolf, I'm assuming 3 out of 10.
I yawned, I groaned, I couldn't stand anymore. Foley fan, 2 out of 10.
That's amazing. Bad script, bad idea, bad direction, bad movie, but hey, the special effects were okay. That's from Moika, and 1 out of 10. God bless.
Okay. Well,
sorry, I'm going to throw in this other 1 out of 10. Started okay, then PETA arrived. Batsy 423.
Then PETA arrived.
Fucking PETA. Ruin everything.
There we go. All right. So yeah, we did budget. We did. Yeah, it was a lot shorter than I remembered.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the murder count was not as high. I think we covered everything but the trailer.
Yes.
Okay, so
think.
here, pretty sure. Here's the trailer watch we did last week, and when we come back, we will review it. All right, so next week is a Anna pick, and I was so happy when I heard which one you picked.
Me too.
We're going back to the 90s again, but this is 1999, I believe. Lake Placid.
Yep.
All right, so 1999 Lake Placid. I'm starting to think 1999 was a great year for movies.
Honestly, I think I want to research this because it was also the year that I graduated from high school. I remember having a great time. But a lot
we
of
got
great movies were
The
coming out.
Matrix, we got American Pie, we got
Yeah,
and this. Okay, what do you remember about Lake Placid?
I remember a lot.
I have not seen this movie in a while, but I have
Yeah,
seen it a few times, and I remember a lot, and I
it's
remember
probably
loving this movie.
it's probably been about 8 years since I've seen it because there was a time where they played the crap out of this on like A&E, and it
Oh
was
yeah,
on
it
like
was
every
everywhere.
other day. So every time it was on, I would watch it. So I've watched the crap out of this movie, but it has been a while since I've seen it. And I've seen it on my streaming services. But I was like, no, I want to do this for the podcast. So I've been
Yeah,
putting off watching it for the last couple years for that reason.
I did not see this in theaters. I remember
No.
renting it, and I wish I did see it in theaters. This has a phenomenal cast.
Yeah, God, so
I
good.
remember the effects, and now they might not be as great as I remember, but I remember the effects being pretty good.
I remember the effects being very good. I do remember getting kind of anxious watching this movie. Not necessarily fearful, like there wasn't a fear of anything, but definitely like, oh God, somebody's gonna lose an arm. Like somebody's gonna lose an arm. But yeah, it was a really great cast.
Well, this was one of the two big creature features of 1999, and we did the the other one last year. Deep Blue Sea was
Yep.
1999, and I remember Deep Blue Sea did better. I will get into this next week. I don't think this did very well. I don't know
No.
why. I don't know what happened because yeah. Well, let's watch the trailer, and then we will make our predictions.
It has existed since prehistoric times. It was worshipped by primitive cultures. It can kill a man with one crushing bite.
We heard a man was bit in half.
Any recent bear attacks? Bears don't attack people underwater. Probably a fever then.
What was that?
Whatever's out there being shot with this is dead.
Oh no.
Sheriff,
How many deputies you got?
you came here to help you find it. We can't let him kill it.
Experience a few parts mystery
Do you have any theories why he's here?
Honestly,
I don't know.
and a few parts missing.
It's a human toe.
Is this the man who was killed? He seemed taller.
Oh my God.
Bill Pullman.
Shoot him!
No! How much of a wacko is this guy? Bridget Fonda.
Mother!
Oliver Platt.
Maybe he swam back out! Maybe not. I just have this feeling everything's totally safe.
This summer, the Earth's oldest creature has just found a new home.
Quickly! Go under!
Lake Placid.
That is a great trailer. One,
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't show you because if I remember correctly, there is a lot of the crocodile in this movie that you
There
see,
is.
and they don't show it in the trailer.
Yeah.
There's no Betty White in that trailer,
Nope.
who is a breakout performance in this movie. She
Yes.
is one of the best things about this movie, and there are a lot of great things about this movie that I remember. I think I'm gonna love it.
I'm going to be I know I'm gonna love it. I know I am.
I
It's been a while, and I know this podcast has taught me one thing, and that's my memory is apparently faulty on what I remember being a good movie, but I remember this being great. So,
Yeah, this is a B movie
oh, 100%.
and I love B movie, and this was a very well done B movie, which
Yeah,
is better than a lot of A movies.
100%. It was
Um,
very funny. Bridget Fonda's so good in this.
I know
So I
Shout
remember her being
Factory
great.
and Scream Factory did a mm, special collector's edition for this
Mm,
movie. I'd like to grab it before. I don't know if I will be able to by the time we
yeah.
uh, do this on Friday, which is a shame. So I probably will rent it in the hopes that it's still awesome. And if it's awesome, like I think it is, I will buy it after the fact.
I think it's
Actually, I
on
think it's on.
Crave.
Oh, it might be, which is even better.
Yeah. I think it's on
If I can
Crave.
watch it without paying money with all this money I'm putting out in streaming services,
Right?
awesome.
I think that's why I get so mad if there's a movie I'm looking for and I can't find it on a streaming service. I'm like, I have like 15.
Yeah, I
God
have a
damn
lot of
it.
streaming service, and yeah, you're right. When a movie that's not on it, I'm pretty pissed.
I get super pissed. And then if it is on the streaming service and they're like, rent or buy, I'm like, fuck you. How about you just fucking
Yeah.
stream it? But, anyways, yeah, apparently it says, oh, it's also apparently available on Prime with a premium.
And just so people know, and I know, come on. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Because I think I looked at. It's not gonna let me. Screw you, Amazon. I think it was on sale, or it's
Oh,
not on. Like you can. I don't. It's under $10, I think, to buy.
I have already bought
HD.
it.
Oh, do you have it on
Yeah.
DVD or Blu-ray?
No, digital. I haven't bought the
Oh, okay.
physical. The physical's $10?
No, the
Oh, the
digital is
digital?
$10.
Yeah. I bought
I
it a
would.
while ago because I was like, I know I'm gonna love it, but I haven't watched it. I have been so good. I have been avoiding watching this movie since we started this podcast
We
because I was like,
do
one day we're gonna do it.
we do 4 eeny, meeny, miny, mo movies. Then we do 3 Jimmy picks and 3 Anna picks, and this was an Anna pick. I was so happy when you said Lake Placid.
I
Um,
always like our
I'm
movie
excited about
picks.
watching it.
There's
Yeah,
always one that I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about that movie. And then there's always one that I'm like, I've never seen that movie. And then there's always one that I'm like, oh my God, I'm pretty sure I hated that movie. And it's always a
yeah.
fun time. It's always a fun time to see what pops up.
I'll be severely disappointed if I do not like this movie.
Me too.
I'll be if it goes. If I'm yeah, like the effects are horrible, but it can't. And they haven't even shown. It was Oliver Platt, Bridget Fonda, Bill Pullman. There are a lot more people in this movie.
So
Isn't it the girl
many.
from Karate Kid in it, Elizabeth Shue? No, the
I
girl from
no.
The Journey of Natty Gann.
I'm a
Uh,
boo on that one. Mariska Hargitay is there
and then is
from
that the
Law and
black
Order
haired girl?
SVU. Who?
The black haired
She,
girl?
not really. Well, it's dark hair. She's in the very beginning of the movie. And the
Oh, okay,
reason
yeah, yeah.
that Bridget Fonda takes a trip out to the wilderness, even though she is not a field archaeologist or animal zoologist, whatever her career is. She works in a
Meredith
museum.
Salinger,
Okay. Oh, yeah.
who has been in Dream a Little Dream, The
Yeah.
Journey of Natty Gann. She was very big in the 80s and early 90s, but also the police officer. Jesus Christ, what's his name? Brendan Gleeson.
Brendan Gleeson, love
He's
him.
friggin' awesome. Yeah.
He's
So
so
I'm very
good.
excited about this. If this movie sucks, I'm gonna be really pissed.
Honestly, I remember it being amazing, and I've seen it so many times,
I
but
have seen this a few times.
but I only started watching this movie probably 8 to 10 years after it came out.
Oh wow, really?
So there was like a solid time of maybe 10 years where I was watching this on the regular.
Yeah.
and then it stopped.
Yeah.
Actually, not even 5 years, like 5 years where I was watching it on the regular and then I stopped watching it. So now I'm just excited because I'm like, I remember loving this movie and watching it every time it came on TV. Please, please don't let my memory be busted because I want to love this movie forever.
Yeah, I think this has been about 10 years for me
Yeah.
since I've seen this movie. But I maybe even more. It's been a while, but I've seen it a lot.
I also keep forgetting that it's 2025.
Yeah.
So like I say dates and I'm like when I said, "Oh yeah, no, it's been like 10 years." I was like, "Wait,
Yeah,
has it?" I think the last time I
2005.
was like the last time I isn't that fucked up?
Yeah, almost 20
Like
years
20 years
ago.
ago is 2005 and I was like,
Yeah, I
"Wait,
know.
what?" Constantly having to do the math because I can't remember how long ago 2005 was is really fucked up
Yeah. Yeah. Sad.
because it's not 2025 in my head. It's still
All right.
2009.
So next week, Lake Placid.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And now, on with the show.
Yay. All right. You watched Lake Placid.
Yes.
I watched Lake Placid. What's your initial thoughts?
I still love this movie and it's a lot funnier than I remember.
I feel kind of bad for the sheriff. Everyone's fucking picking on him.
I know that was a little rough for him, but he took it in stride and he gave
dealt some
back
good
quite
ones.
a bit. Yeah.
No, I still had a lot of fun watching this movie.
Yeah.
I did. The cast was incredible.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
I don't know why people didn't like it.
I don't know why either. Maybe they were expecting something,
maybe gorier
or a little more highbrow, but I was like, this dialogue is fantastic.
Yeah, for
Quick
a
and
horror
intelligent.
movie. Yeah, it's
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was written by David E. Kelly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, well, there's that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I loved it. It was a good time. It was such a good time.
All right. Well, let's go through this movie. Lake Placid in Aroostook County, Maine. Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife Officer Walt Lawson is scuba diving with Sheriff Hank Keogh,
maybe? Yeah.
Keogh?
I would say Keogh.
In Black Lake when he is suddenly bitten in half by an unknown creature. This whole setup was great.
Yes.
Again, the sheriff gets picked on right away.
Which I love because Walt Lawson is part of Animal and Fish and Animal.
Yeah.
Wildlife guy. So he's already being really sarcastic and it kind of sets the tone for like this interdepartmental rivalry we'll go with. And okay. I already hate murky lakes.
Oh yeah.
I grew up spending my summers on Lake Huron. That lake is clear as shit.
Yeah.
Like even if you go out like 40,
that's a
50 feet.
Giant lake.
It's a giant lake.
Yeah.
But clear. I can always see the bottom. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. Then you go to some smaller lakes, right? And then you see
once you start getting to
stuff.
like actual lakes, not these giant lakes that are like
I know,
the size of seas.
Not one of the Great Lakes. When you're going to like the littler lakes, everything's always murky and there's usually a lot of vegetation at the bottom and it always makes me very, very uncomfortable. And I do not like looking into water where I cannot see all the way down.
Yeah.
I have a fear. So as the camera, first it takes us above everything. We meet Lawson and the sheriff, and then he dives down because he's got to go tag a beaver. And then you just see the murky lake, and I was like, oh man, this is already making me super uncomfortable.
Well, that one of the things the movie did a great job at doing was it was pretty intense. Like it was
Mhm.
pretty like what's gonna pop out? Where is it? That type of thing. Like the beaver shoots out of that dam or whatever it's called, the nest
Yeah.
a fucking beaver lives in.
When the beaver well, first it's like the movie, like the
Two-story
music,
condo.
it really was. It was a very nice. I was like, that's very spacious. Um, the music like builds a lot of tension, and then you see Lawson kind of looking around, and then all of a sudden a turtle very gently swims by, and there's a break in the, and then the music builds up again, and then the beaver shoots out real quick, and you're like, what the fuck, beaver? That was a jump scare. And then Lawson goes back up into the nest dam
Yeah.
beaver condo.
Well, before he does that, he kind of senses something, and he
Yeah.
turns around and looks, and then they give you his point of view, and you really can't see shit. Like
You can't see
a
shit.
couple
So
feet in
murky.
front of you.
So dark.
I'd be like,
So
fuck that.
I
I know
don't-
there's not a crocodile in
do you know?
but that's what I mean. When you're down there and claustrophobic and you can't see nothing, like
Yeah.
who
No,
knows what's down there.
I could never. And then my other thought, like every time the music built up, I'm like, aren't you supposed to be diving with a buddy? Who goes diving by themselves? This is not safe.
1999.
But anyways, yeah. I really like this also, since it's a murky lake already. I'm like, tension is building up in my body because I'm like, you can't see anything. Anything could be in that water.
So yeah, he's inside the dam, and then he feels a tug, and then he just gets ripped out of the dam. We don't see him. We hear him struggling and stuff, and then he comes up the water, kind of screaming a bit, and Buddy's eating his Twinkie. And then when he looks around, he's already pulled back under.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because the first it wasn't. He struggles to get sound out.
Yeah.
And then he screams. And then he gets pulled under. And I'm like, oh God, that's even more like the struggling to get the sound out to ask for help. I'm like, oh, that hits
And then
me.
he's pushed through the water to the boat where he hits the boat a la Jaws. Officer Sheriff Hank picks him up and picks half of him up.
Well, because they also show the teeth of the croc.
They do show the teeth
and the
yeah.
struggle.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay,
very
croc
close
is holding
up.
on to something, like biting and pulling him down. You don't realize how much he's biting him or pulling him down until Sheriff Hank yanks him into the boat. And I'm like, oh God, intestines.
Yeah. That is, and again, practical effect. Stan Winston did the effects of this movie. I mean, it's not going to be bad. He's one of the, I would say, top 2 practical effect guys ever, if not number 1. So yeah, Buddy's dead.
He's dead.
United States Fish and Wildlife Service Officer Jack Wells. Okay, let's go, and then we go to, because it just jumps right to where they're taking off. Then we jump to New York.
Yes.
Where Bridget Fonda's character Kelly is working, and her boss calls her up to dump her, and then she's having a panic attack or whatever in the room. Her friend comes in, tells her to, because she's doing like the
Lamaze breathing.
Yeah, the Lamaze breathing.
You have to breathe deep if you want to relax.
And then she's like, yeah, I just got dumped. She's like, yeah, I know. How'd you know? And then finds out it was her that her boyfriend's been cheating on.
Mariska Hargitay really like nailed it with the, well, I mean, we started before you started with him, and you know what I mean? It was inevitable. What are you going to do? I mean, it's just, and I'm like, oh, wow. I kind of want to punch you right now.
Then she gets a visit from her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend / boss, who says they got a phone call and they want her to go check out this tooth that they found. And it's really just them trying to get her out of the museum because it's getting uncomfortable already.
That entire interaction was amazing because like he walks in and he's like, hi. And she's like, hey, how are you? Yeah, I'm good. That's great. Fuck you. And then he's like, there's a tooth. We need you to go. And she's like, I'm not a field person. I don't go in the field. And he's like, well, maybe this would be nice a couple of days away. It'd be better for everybody. And she's like, oh, so you guys are uncomfortable and you want me to leave. And I'm like, I love this. Yes,
this
girl.
is where good writing really comes in handy. If you want someone to be a bitch and you want someone to be like snarky and whatnot, if you just opened up with her showing up acting like that, it wouldn't have been funny. It wouldn't. Well, it could have been funny, but it wouldn't have been relatable. You'd like just shit's a bitch. But now you have the background of what happened, so you're a lot more sympathetic as to why she doesn't want to go back to New York, why she's snarky,
And it doesn't
having a bad day.
Exactly. It doesn't take a lot of time to set that up.
No, not at all.
You never actually see the breakup conversation. The conversation with Myra, that hoe, is super short. And it's really kind of to the point. It's like, no, I'm going to help you through this panic attack. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm the cause of the panic attack. Oh, why can't we be friends? Like, I don't understand. And you're just like, you are clueless, bitch. And then, there's enough kind of snark, but she's still being kind of professional until the fuck you. But, it's very much like, I don't even know why you're talking to me. And then he's like, go out to Maine. And she's like, oh, I'm going to hate you. But she goes.
Yeah. And you get to have that type of character and put her in those type of situations and have those reactions from that type of character.
Yes.
Very clever. United States Fish and Wildlife Service Officer Jack Wells, Bill Pullman, American Museum of Natural Historical Paleontology, Kelly Scott, and Hank investigate the incident. They are joined by Hector Sear, a wealthy mythology professor and crocodile enthusiast who suspects the culprit is a crocodile, much to the disbelief of the group. Before Hector shows up, they go. Do they go out? No, they don't go in canoes. What do they do?
No.
They're out in a boat and they find the moose head.
Yes. That happens, I think, after.
Well, they're loading up in town.
Yeah. Well, no. Because first it's Jack Wells and the sheriff having a conversation next to the half guy.
Yeah.
And, they're like, he's like, maybe it's a bear. And
he's like, I was there. It wasn't a bear.
It wasn't a bear.
And it's like, been a beaver.
It could have been something, like maybe it was and they're trying to dismiss it, but they're like, okay, we're going to go out into the lake. We're going to go take a look. And then that's when thing gets flown in, I think.
Then they take her to the morgue because she's like, why we have to go in there? It's a morgue.
She flies in. He's like, you want to see the tooth? She's like, sure. He goes to the morgue door and she's like, what? There are dead bodies in there. And he's like, yeah, that's where they keep them.
Yeah, that's where they keep them.
And I will say this for the sheriff. From the time that you first see him, he always comments on how everybody's super sarcastic with him.
Yes.
Different kinds of sarcastic, but and he's like, yeah, fish and wildlife guys, sarcastic and snarky or rude or whatever. And he's like, you guys will get along. It'll be great. But anyways, so he takes her into the morgue and she's like, I want to see the body. Because she looks at the tooth and she's like, yeah, it's reptilian, but it's not a fossil. Like, this is from a living thing. Then she's like,
it's just it's an actual, not a full tooth. It's an actual
it's just a
fragment of the tooth.
It's still the size of like her hand. It's huge.
It's huge.
So she sees the body. She freaks out a little bit.
Almost
but she's like,
up.
okay. And then she says she wants to see the lake. And then that's where they start loading up in town.
Yeah. And I like when the girl comes out and asks, and then the sheriff.
And then they both stare, and she's like, "Oh my god!" But it's so funny because I actually wrote this note. It's a quote from the sheriff. She's rude, sarcastic. You should get along, because he says that to Jack Wells.
Yes,
it's like, you're sarcastic, but she's rude, sarcastic. You guys should get along. And then that's where like all the introductions happen. And Jack Wells is like, you don't have to come out. And she's like, I'm going to go out. And then that's where we also find out that she's kind of being sent out there as like a punishment. And it's like, they're more comfortable if I'm not there.
Yeah. And they're going along the lake. They find the moose head. They drop it in the boat. It drops onto
her foot.
Kelly's foot. And then she freaks out and slaps the sheriff's face. Yeah, so they go back to their camp.
And then she slaps it again, which was amazing.
Yeah. And then they're going back to the camp, and in flies Hector.
But wait, isn't that where their anchor gets pulled? Or is that later on?
That's later on.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Just Moosehead. And then they set up camp. Hector flies in on his helicopter, which is painted to look like a croc.
Yeah.
And there's this whole, who is he? And it's like, that's Hector. And they're, just this. And then Oliver Platt walks in. Hector Sear. Amen.
I like Oliver Platt. He's funny.
He's so funny. And then he just joins in, and it's like they've all hated each other since like the first day of high school. It's amazing.
Okay, after Kelly, no, after Kelly and Hank's canoe is flipped over, they discover, so they go out in a canoe because he gets there and he goes, we still have some light. Let's do a bit of recon. They go canoeing. He's got his equipment, but then they see all those little fish.
Yes.
And then he asks our fish, are they supposed to do that? And this is where Jack says, Bill Pullman's character, no, they're scared. They're something's bothering them.
They say, are they feeding?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, they're scared. And then everybody kind of stops and has a moment.
And then their canoe just gets pummeled into the air and they go flying. Another good tense because they're in the water and
well, you know that the threat is in the water.
Yeah.
So they get tossed into the water and they're like,
again,
oh, shit.
Still have not seen this fucking crocodile.
No. But you know it's there. You know it. And so you kind of know it's big, but you don't know how big.
Yeah.
You know it's a little bloodthirsty, but you don't know how bloodthirsty because it doesn't attack every single person who comes into the water. I like this.
Did they discover a severed human toe and a moose head? Well, it's kind of jumbled here, Wikipedia. I did like the toe where Hector is like, is this the man?
Yeah.
Is this the man you were with? And he's like, he was a bit taller.
And that toe, when it comes up, I'm like, nice.
Yeah, it's so gross.
Yeah, so gross. So gross.
So they go back out again, but this time in the boat. And they're putting those little chirping things, little crocodile chirping sounds into the water. And Hector's like, if they hear it, they'll come.
Yeah, because it's supposed to sound like hatchlings in distress.
Yeah.
So like that'll attract the crocodile. And I'm like, I don't know why that sounds like a good idea.
And they go in the water. The two of them go in the water. And Jack thinks he sees something. And they split up.
Yeah. Jack sees something move through the
that
murky,
wood.
dark lake
Yeah.
that has apparently trees growing in it. And he goes off to explore. So him and Hector go to separate directions.
And then they come up. They know there's something down there. They found some evidence, but they haven't found it. They're waiting and waiting and waiting. And they're like, okay, pull up the little chirping thing. He goes to pull it up.
No, the pulling up comes after it gets pulled by the anchor. I'm remembering this now because they're down. Bill Pullman comes back up and he knows there's something down there. And he's like, we got to go. And they're like, where's Hector? And he's like, I don't know. We went in different directions. This is after because
and she says, yeah, there's bubbles over there.
Because while they're both underwater, the boat gets pulled like really fast, really quickly by the anchor. So they're trying to cut off the anchor. And then all of a sudden it gets let go. And they're like, oh my God, it like pull up the anchor. Let's go. Bill Pullman, Jack Wells, comes up and he's like, okay, they're like, we gotta go. There's something in the water. We got pulled or whatever.
Oh, and she falls out when it gets pulled.
Yes, she falls out. And that's when she's in the lake.
Yeah.
So she's just hanging out there waiting for them to come
They're
pick
trying
her
to
up.
start the boat to get back.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're having trouble because the boat gets pulled as she falls out. They're across the lake. They're trying to restart the boat. They go. I think at that point they pick up Jack Wells and then they start towards her, but they see bubbles between her and the boat.
Yeah.
They're like, ah, shit. Or the little fish. They're like, ah, shit, something's in the water. So they finally get to her. They pull her up and then they were like, where the fuck is Hector?
And that's when she's like, there's bubbles over there.
There's bubbles over there. And then they take the boat and they go over to the bubbles.
Then they pick up Hector, and then they tell the deputy to pull up the thing. As he's pulling out, the crocodile comes out of the water and just bites the guy's head clean off.
Deputy Burke is
Deputy Burke?
No, not Deputy Burke. Yeah, no, Deputy Burke is the one whose head gets bitten off. Because I remember looking at that guy and I'm like, hey, I know that guy. He's the Canadian actor who's been in a lot of stuff. So I was like, aw, his head got bit clean off.
Again, you don't see a ton of the crocodile.
No.
Very little of it.
Very little. And it moves so fast. Like you kind of see the scales, but it's covered in like rushing water, like a lot of like kind of white water. So you're like, oh, you get glimpses.
Yeah.
I really like just getting glimpses of the crocodile.
Hank's deputy Burke has his head bitten off, which confirmed Hector's suspicions, but Hank remains skeptical. That evening, the groups make camp and prepare to plan to capture the creature. The following day, as Hank and Hector get into an altercation, a large grizzly bear attacks them. Yeah, this was a silly scene. Like a grizzly bear wouldn't run past you and then like corner you off. But I get why I had to do that.
Yes. We understand the function of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure wildlife experts are like, that would never happen.
No. And I think this is after they found the print, the actual crocodile, and they were plastering it and stuff like that. But then the grizzly bear's up on his two legs, and then all of a sudden the crocodile actually comes down and drags the bear into the water.
Yes.
This is the first time you actually get to see a good CGI, and it wasn't bad. For 1999, it wasn't bad at all.
Like, it was clearly CGI.
Yeah.
Very clearly. However, I mean, for 1999, it was good CGI.
Yeah. Some told me that a lot of their budget went to making the CGI look decent. Because we've seen a lot of 1999 and early 2000s with CGI that wasn't good.
No. You can tell who had the budget for CGI and who didn't. And they obviously did for this movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like favors were pulled in to get the cast.
Well, yeah. A gigantic 32-foot, 9.89 meter long saltwater crocodile emerges from the lake and drags the bear into the water. The group discovers that local resident Dolores Bickerman, an elderly widow living near the lake, is feeding the crocodile after they observe her leading a blindfolded dairy cow to the water. They actually visit her before this.
Yes.
And they're like, "Where's your husband?" And she's like, "I killed him."
That was great.
Even
everybody's
like pinching his, like he's pinching his nose and he knows she's nuts.
His level of just frustration with everybody is visible through the whole movie.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I'm just tired and these people need to shut up. Because when they were like, she was like telling her story about how her husband died. And he's like, because first she was like, oh, he's dead. He's like, my department doesn't have a record of that. And then she said, she made a snarky comment. She called him Officer Fuck Me.
Yeah, I lose sleep knowing that your records aren't complete.
Officer Fuck Me.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. And then she tells the story where she's like, oh, he was super sick and he would have his lucid days and then his not so lucid days. But on his lucid days, he would always tell me to end his suffering. And then one day I decided to do it. And he's buried out underneath, oh God, the embankment. And then she's like, if you want to go dig him up, go right ahead. And it was like, or the bulkhead. He's buried out underneath the bulkhead. If you want to dig him up, go right ahead. And everybody's like, nah, it's okay. Thanks. We'll believe you. They shouldn't have.
No. And then when they're looking around, they see her. I don't know if they're going to go ask her a question. And then they see her walking a cow out.
I think they were following some tracks. I think
maybe,
that's when you see the big foot thing, and then they grab the binoculars and take a look around, and he's like, fuck me. Like Jack Wells, God bless. He was like, look about 10 feet into the water.
Yeah.
And then the sheriff
when the camera
like,
pans over, and you see the giant crocodile.
The super giant, and she's leading a cow into the water.
Yeah. She's like, come and get it.
Come and get it.
She reveals that she had been feeding it for years after the crocodile ate her husband. Yeah, she said it followed her husband home, and they fed it some stuff and became kind of like a pet. Jesus Christ, I wouldn't want a little tiny alligator swimming anywhere near me, let alone a giant fucking saltwater crocodile.
Yeah,
Jesus.
no, I'm good with. I don't want any of that.
Like,
To
that's
be
a
perfectly
living,
honest.
breathing fucking dinosaur.
Correct.
She reveals that she had been feeding it for years after. Oh, no, I just said that. Hector and Deputy Sharon take his helicopter onto the lake and unexpectedly land in the crocodile's territory. Okay, so
it was not unexpected, except for the deputy.
Yeah. And where were they going?
They were going to the cove that he's
No,
like,
I know they were going to the cove. Where was? Oh, was this why they were talking to Betty White?
I think it might have been.
Okay.
I think it might have been.
Okay, so she's like, "Where are we?" And Hector is like, "Well, obviously where the crocodile lives. It's a cove. It's the perfect place." And she's like, "I don't think we should land here." And I'm like, I'd be agreeing. Because what does she say? She's like, I'll have sex with you if you just get back into the helicopter.
Yeah.
That would be me. I'd be like, I'll give you a blowjob. Get the fuck out and let's go. And well, like, if Deputy Sharon, Meredith Salinger couldn't convince him, I'm pretty sure I couldn't convince him. You never know.
You could not. No.
You go back to camp. They say, "Where's Jimmy?" And they're like, "He went into the woods with Hector. He looked really sad."
Knowing Hector, not even your masculine wiles could deter him from trying to find this crocodile.
No, and this was a great scene because I loved it when because he goes down looking, comes back up, and then pop, there's the crocodile.
Yes.
And he turns around, look at it, and he's like, "Oh, this does no longer seem like a good idea." This.
Well, no, because when he's looking at it, he initially has this, I'm going to commune with this fucker.
Yeah.
And then he realizes, he's like, maybe this isn't a good idea. Because when he first, you see that look of awe and you see it change on his face.
Yeah.
Where he's
like, this thing's going to fucking eat me.
Yeah. It's like he has a moment of like, oh, this is real. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why. Fucking Florida people are ridiculous. The ones that I know they're just alligators. They're still terrifying.
No, don't get me wrong. Look, anything that can eat me, I'm not in the mood for. Thank you.
No. Why people wouldn't want to go into the water with these things?
Well, also, we know sharks are not that dangerous to humans. Like, the actual rate at which they bite humans, so fucking low.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to test the theory.
I don't want to test the theory either. Same thing with
crocodiles.
Crocodiles. I don't want to test the theory with any.
No,
this
but
is
I
why
think
Australia
crocodiles and
terrifies me.
alligators will eat humans.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Sharks don't really give a shit about humans.
Sharks don't give a shit unless they're super hungry.
Yeah.
So overfishing will get you attacked by a shark.
A crocodile and alligator, your food.
Well, because they're going to eat whatever's available to them.
Yeah. Yeah. While he is scuba diving, Hector is confronted by the crocodile, but he and Gare escape after distracting it with an inflatable raft. Hank and Jack call in the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission for help with killing the crocodile, but Hector suggests that he should lure it out of the water and tranquilize it instead. Fuck that.
Well, to be fair, Kelly kind of agrees with Hector.
Yes.
Because she's like, this is a huge find. Like, when are you going to find a 30-foot Asian saltwater crocodile, chill it in a freshwater lake? Like, this for science.
Yeah.
We should keep it alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And eventually Jack Wells is like,
because they could survive in anything.
Yeah.
They did say, and I have seen this on a documentary where the water, if it does freeze, as long as it snouts out it and breathes, it can slow its heart down or something, and it can hibernate.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
And it can go in regular ponds and no thank you.
That takes a little bit of adaptation, but they can adapt.
Yeah.
Which is why murky lakes are terrifying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
All right. Where are we? Jack reluctantly accepts the proposal and they use one of Bickerman's cattle. That's Betty White's character, dangled from a helicopter as bait. Before that, I did like the scene where The sheriff and Hector are going at it, and they're like, "I'll fight you." He goes,
I'm a
"My
brown
parents,
belt in karate.
yeah, my parents dropped me off at karate class," and so he just punches him and knocks him the fucking through
It's
the
so funny.
air.
He's like, take your best shot. Take your best shot. Take your
It
best shot. And
just
then the sheriff
lands
just
one.
like lands one. And Hector, of course, falls over. And then when he gets back up, the hilarious thing is he never said go. No one said go.
Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to say
You're
go?
supposed to say go.
And then Hector and the sheriff walk off, bickering with each other about saying go. And it's like, aren't you supposed to bow? And he's like, no, but you bow and then you say go, but nobody said go. And you can hear them bickering as they walk away.
This is where Betty White's character's all pissed because they're stealing one of her cows
Yeah.
and they're trying to catch the crocodile. I like that too. She goes, "I'm rooting for the crocodile. I hope he kills all your friends."
That was great. I think I made a note about that too.
Oh. After a few hours, the crocodile appears. Yeah, because they're there all night, dangling that poor fucking cow in the air and dunking it in the water to make it splash around.
Yeah. Well, no, they dunk it in and like it's just sitting there. And like Kelly says straight up, she's like, it's just sitting there like a tea bag.
Yeah.
Of course the crocodile doesn't want it. So then they start moving it so that it starts like kicking its legs and getting worked up.
Hector pulls up as the crocodile lunges and Jack fires a tranquilizer dart into its neck. Hector loses control of the helicopter and crashes into the lake. The crocodile comes on land and pursues the group. This is the only time of the movie where we get an actual
full
10, 15 minutes of
Yeah.
the actual crocodile. Goes on land, tries to attack them.
Gets stuck in the helicopter.
Gets stuck on the hack.
They
That
drink it.
in the water, practical
Yeah.
effects. It looked really good. It looked like a
So good.
fucking crocodile.
So I actually made a note about that. I'm like, the practical FX croc looks good.
Yeah.
Like it looked real good. And I was like, man, that must have cost a pretty penny because it looked fantastic.
Yeah. And it was moving around because it came right through that
Yeah.
helicopter. Yeah, it was pretty good. I don't know why you fucking people didn't like this movie.
I don't know why either. It
Idiots.
was like I don't get it. I don't get it.
Kelly is knocked into the lake by the crocodile's tail. As Kelly enters and that's when she's like, she's knocked into the water and it's coming into the water after, and Hector's like, swim towards me and dive, because we did learn that they can't see very well. They have like
Yes.
a thing that goes over the eye that protects them, but it doesn't let them see very well. That's why they're always attacking out of water.
Mm-hmm.
As Kelly
So-
enters the
Yeah, go ahead.
Kelly enters the downed helicopter. The crocodile attacks but becomes trapped. As the tranquilizer kicks in and the crocodile appears to be pacified, Jack, Hector, and Hank argue about whether or not to kill it. Jack eventually grabs Hank's gun and shoots it, but the firearm turns out to be another tranquilizer. I'm pretty sure
It wasn't
Jack
Hank's
knew.
gun that he grabbed.
No,
He
it was
grabbed
another deputy.
deputy's gun. That was a trank. Yeah,
Yeah, because Hank's gun definitely was not a trank gun.
definitely not.
Like a rocket launcher.
I loved the underwater scenes.
Yeah.
I loved, that one random underwater tree trunk that saved her. Yeah. Like she was keeping it calm, cool, and collected until
where
her
she
foot got
kind of
stuck.
squinched up, and then the crocodile turned, opened its jaws, and just caught the tree.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
no, it
was
was
like, "That's
really
impressive."
well done.
It was a really great series of scenes, and I was like, this is fantastic. And then when she finally comes up, we're all very excited. Croc comes up eventually, follows everybody back out to the water, gets stuck inside like a trap in the helicopter that's been crashed, and then they just keep tranking it
Yeah.
until it fucking stops moving.
As Hector comes out of the water, another crocodile attacks him and bites him, but Hank blows it up with a grenade launcher. There were two of them. Soon after, Florida wildlife officers arrive. They load the neutralized crocodile onto the truck and take it to Portland, Maine, as they determine what to do next. This is not the end. We see Bickerman, that's Betty White's character, going out onto the dock, sitting down in the water and feeding tiny little baby crocodiles. Where my 7-year-old was like, they're going to get big and eat people.
Did we talk about how Sheriff Hank finally got to use his big gun?
Yeah, the rocket launcher where the second crocodile came out.
That's bladder was amazing.
Yeah.
So
And I did like the even after that, the credits are rolling and we see the flatbed trailer going
yes.
down the highway with the giant. I wonder if they told people. It would have been awesome if they did not. Could you imagine they're shooting this,
Yeah.
but you're just driving the other way? And what the fuck is that?
And then as someone in the back always says, I'm not getting in that lake. I'm not getting in that lake.
Oh, yeah, that would have been funny. And that is our movie.
Mhm.
Are you people not entertained? All right, I'm gonna do my score first because I have a feeling, and
Do
it's
yours.
her score is gonna be a little longer than mine.
Actually, it probably won't be. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
okay. All right. Well,
Do you
just in
want me
case.
to do? Yeah, just in case. Go.
If you remember liking this movie, do not worry. It is still fun. The body count is low, but the writing and the delivery of that writing is high. The CGI is great for 1999 because we don't see it constantly, so there is not a whole lot to pick apart. The practical effects are stellar, even by today's standards. And of course, they are done by Stan Winston. And I say all of this as we just watched a B horror creature feature. It's a B movie. It's almost a perfect B movie. It looked good. It was shot good. Tight on the croc, wide in the water, little CGI that it used quickly and proper to get its effect. The gore is light but gory. It's fun. It's funny. Betty White kicks ass. Bill Pullman plays depressed, and who knows, maybe he didn't want to go and do this movie like we were reading in the reviews, but he used that motivation or lack of for his character. Oliver Platt was funny. Brendan Gleeson, I keep forgetting how friggin' awesome he is. I say take a relaxing boat ride out on Lake Placid, enjoy it for what it is, a great B movie, a great creature feature. Buy it.
Okay. Now here comes mine. It's probably a little bit shorter than yours.
Oh, okay.
A little bit. Because here's the thing. It's great performances, great writing, great cinematography.
Yeah.
Good effects. Like, they're not super great, but they're good. They're very good. Great storytelling.
Yeah.
It keeps pace. It's well told. You have all the information that you need. There isn't very much blood and guts, but when you get blood and guts, you get blood and guts. It's not the suggestion of it. It's the practical effects are amazing. Like, that toe was fantastic. The random head that also fell on her feet and then she had to like slap people. Like, it's just overall, it is a very well-made movie. Now, I think the reason people did not like this movie was because they saw the cast and they assumed it was going to be a different type of movie.
Yeah.
But as you said in your review, it is a B horror movie creature feature. And that's what it is. It was never meant to be deep and meaningful. There was no great morale it was trying to teach you. It's literally giant croc in a lake, hilarity and ickiness ensues. And that's all it is. And you can enjoy it. It is not overly long. They did not try to beef it up, but they didn't slim it down so much that you end up missing things. It is a well-crafted movie that has incredible dialogue and some very beautiful cinematography. So I'm gonna say buy it. Buy this shit. I loved it, and it was a lot funnier than I remember it being, which really surprised me. Like, I remember it being funny, but not that funny.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so I think everybody should buy it and watch it and keep watching it and then start fiddling with the reviews and make it better. Thank you.
Yeah. I rented it. Your streaming service, it was in fucking French.
I know.
I canceled 5 of my streaming subscriptions today. I
Oh,
still
did you?
have 5. I decided I'm gonna get rid of them because I was so pissed at this.
Mhm.
We were talking about that every time we go to, and you have all these streaming services, and the movies we want to watch are usually not on any of them, which is
Yeah.
fine, but it's a little annoying. I
Annoying.
canceled 5, but I still have 5. Yeah, no, it was a great movie.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, so that is 1990. Well, and it's a lot like Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah.
A great cast. It's a
Yeah.
B movie, and it's just
Yeah.
a fun, stupid creature movie that's just fun to watch.
See, I think you need to look at movies through the filters they're meant to be looked through.
Yeah.
So this is a B horror/creature feature. Look at it through that filter, because if you watch it through, an art film filter, you're gonna hate it. I don't know why you would. It's a giant fucking crocodile in freshwater lakes. Like, what? But I mean, I think a lot of people don't necessarily give credit where credit is due. They aimed to make a certain type of movie, and they did. They succeeded, and it's good.
Yeah. And this is one of the better crocodile movies. Like, I liked Crawl.
I still haven't seen it.
Really?
It's
That's
been
a
on my list for
great movie.
You know what? Life has been hectic for the last year. And I'm like, that's one of the movies that I really want to focus on to
Well,
watch
maybe
it.
we'll do that, and we'll do that on a podcast coming up. Primeval, have you seen that one? The
I don't
giant
think I have.
African crocodile.
So what you're
Again?
saying is just give me a bunch of like movies, crocodile movies I need to watch.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do my own reviews of those.
And ever since Cocaine Bear, they've been doing like the heroin raccoon, but they had a new one that come out is Meth Gator. He eats a bunch of meth in like Florida or something. Goes on a
I
tear.
mean, it could happen.
Yeah,
It could definitely happen.
I gotta watch it. All right, we have 2 buy it's. Yeah.
It is such a good and rewatchable movie. I'm probably gonna rewatch it again very soon because it was so good.
All right. Now, before we leave next week,
Yes.
we're staying in the 90s, and we're going to 1994. What do you remember about 1994 movie starring Brandon Lee as The Crow?
Okay. I did not watch this movie in theaters.
No,
I did.
neither did I.
This was a rental for me
Yeah.
because Brandon Lee was all the fucking rage. So I'm pretty sure we watched this for a slumber party. I fucking remember loving this movie.
Yeah.
Like absolutely loving it. It was dark but beautiful. Felt kind of romantic. Like the love that he has for his girlfriend, and the violence was good. Like I remember really loving this movie.
Okay, you're kind of fucking ruining it for me. It's all fucking romantic.
I was also a 14-year-old girl who was like, "Oh my god, I totally want to marry."
Are we talking
like,
about The
super
Crow
cute
or
boy."
Timothy Chalamet and Wonka?
Okay, first of all, bite your tongue, Timothy. Look, Timothée Chalamet is, I'm sure, a very nice young man who's nearing his 30s, but for some reason in my head, he will always be 16. I don't know why. But no, this is not Timothée.
No, Brandon Lee he did a couple of movies. I'm sure he did a few movies, but he did a couple of movies that were starting to be kind of like along the lines of Steven Seagal, Van Damme, because he did karate, Bruce Lee's son.
Yeah.
But The Crow looked like it was about him just to take another level up. And he was going to be a big action star.
This was to be his big star
break.
vehicle.
Yeah. And he died in the movie.
Can I tell you? That broke, like everybody was just
Oh,
shocked.
it was such a.
It was so jarring to hear
Because you heard
too.
about it, and then you watch the movie, and you're like, "Fuck, no more movies from this guy."
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see before we watch the trailer for this. Other than Brandon Lee, it does have a great cast of actors that you know them to see them, and they play bad guys in lots of movies. It also has Ernie Hudson, Anna Thompson. It has a lot of people. David Patrick Kelly, who is in Commando and The Warriors. And it was directed by Alex Proyas. And he did Dark City, which I remember liking, iRobot. So yeah. All right. Well, let's take a look at the trailer, and then I'm pretty sure was gonna say then we'll do our predictions. I already know what I'm predicting. Again, if this movie is not good, I'm gonna be really mad.
Same, boo. Same.
People once believed that when someone dies, a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead. But sometimes, just sometimes, the crow can bring that soul back to put the wrong things right.
You're all going to die.
Is that gasoline I smell?
Victims, aren't we all?
Ooh. It still looks fantastic.
It still looks incredible. Like, just visually. I'm like, I can't wait to see this. Like, the visuals of it. It's going to be incredible.
And this was this was a actual where we had a choice of 3, and we actually both picked The Crow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's been so long, and they
It's been a
just,
while.
I saw on Prime, they just released the remake, which I
heard it's
haven't seen
bad.
yet. I haven't
it's
seen it
like
yet.
really bad. I'm gonna watch it, but
No, I'll probably watch it after I watch
after that,
the OG,
yeah.
because I'm like, because usually that's what I do. If a remake or a reboot comes out, I usually watch the original, then I'll watch the reboot. So I was like, oh, I should watch the original, and then I was like, ooh, but I kind of want to do that for the podcast then if we're gonna watch the original.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hold off on watching the remake, which I'm glad I did, because then
Yeah.
when you put that on that list, I was like, yes. We'll
Yeah, I'll
watch
try
The
to
Crow.
I'll try to do the remake too before next week.
Yeah.
So we can talk about it a bit. But there's some movies that you look at and you're just like, you don't have to remake it. There's no reason.
Amen. There are very few movies that you watch them and you think they need to redo this.
Yeah. It's usually a movie that's has a good idea, but it's not
Mhm.
executed. Like Rollerball.
Yeah.
That's a movie that could have been redone, and they did it, and they did a way worse job.
No, it could have been actually done really, really
It could have
well,
been done amazingly.
and they
didn't
shit
do
the
that.
bed. They
Yeah.
shit the bed.
They were given the money to do it, and
See, but then there's something like Footloose, the remake, I really, really liked compared to the original.
I don't think I've watched Footloose, the remake.
You know what? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like, obviously, for a dance movie, it is what it is. But I was like, this was super entertaining, and I was very entertained by the dancing. And
Was it a remake or like a remake? Remake.
There was a teeny tiny bit of updating, so there were a few tweaks, but for the most part, almost the same exact movie, which I was like, I'm not mad about. There were a few small differences, but nothing that affected the overall story. Roadhouse, where they did change the story kind of substantially,
Yeah,
but it was still
it worked. It was
it still
entertaining.
worked really well.
Yeah.
Like, there are ways to do it where even if you want to change something to update it, you can do that and do it well. Sometimes people just shit the bed because
Yeah.
when they remake the movie, they completely, you're like, you lost the point of it. And thank you, Rollerball, for being that.
Yeah.
Like, the OG missed the point, and then they remade it, and then they further missed the point.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't get the point at all.
Nope, not even a little bit.
All right. So next week, 1994's The Crow with Brandon Lee. I can't wait. And thank you for coming back to 1999 and watching the Lake Placid. I almost forgot what we watched.
We were just so stunned by The Crow.
Which is two buys. 2 buys
Yes.
for Lake Placid. All right. Anything you want to add?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Well, until the next movie we remember liking.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.